Episode 6 with Dipti Prasad, Suman versus Human.
It's been 2 years that I've seen my parents, and my mom would keep telling me to, come and visit her. And I said, no, I'm busy. So that time, the development phase of nobaflix, and she would keep telling me that, I can't operate my smartphone. You think your visually impaired will be able to use the smartphone and they'll be able to use the application, they'll be able to navigate through your application. You are dreaming too big and this and that. And I said, Mama, let it be. Let me do what I want to do and I will show you.
Good evening, Dipti ji. Welcome to my show Suman versus Human.
Good evening, Sumanji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and having me over.
Dipti ji, you are an entrepreneur, you are a businesswoman, and you are so intelligent that you are redefining the way entertainment is today in the world. So Dipti ji,
Thank you so much for your kind words.
we know about Netflix, we know about Hotstar, we know about many such popular OTT platforms available today. But what is this newly discovered nobaflix?
So as the name is driven from no barrier, that's why Noba, and Flix just because the others are famous.
Yeah.
So people can relate more with this the name. That's why Nobaflix. And it's an OTT platform which is exclusively designed for visually impaired. We provide audio description for all our content. Every content that's available on Nobaflix is with audio description, which helps a visually impaired or a blind person to enjoy movies by understanding in an additional commentary the visuals of the cinema.
So nobaflix is first of this kind in the world, right?
Correct.
So before we dig deep into that, Dipti ji, because today no one really knows about audio description stuff, because we get to see this option while we are watching movies on Netflix and Prime sometimes. So I just want to understand what exactly is this audio description about.
Audio description is the visuals described in an additional commentary for whatever content we are consuming via our, the visual content that anybody is trying to consume with person with visual disability.
For better understanding, I would like to play a short clip from a very popular movie so that my listeners will come to an understanding what exactly we are talking about today. So listeners, sure. I'm going to play a popular clip from a popular movie. So just go through it, and I'm sure, because as this is a podcast, you will not have any access to video, and this is a perfect way to show you how a blind person enjoys movie without an audio description. So here you go.
Wow, lovely, so lovely. What a lovely surprise my husband gave me. अभी तक romantic hero है.
मैम, क्या मैं आपका बाथरूम यूज कर सकता हूँ?
Sure.
Now I am playing the content which is audio described such content is available through nobaflix, and here it is.
सिमी पास ही की दीवार के सहारे खड़ी होकर सुन रही है। सामने फर्श पर वाइन गिरी हुई है और कुछ सामान भी। दूर से लाश के केवल टांगे दिखाई दे रही हैं।
Wow, lovely, so lovely. What a lovely surprise my husband gave me. अभी तक romantic heroine.
मैम क्या मैं आपका बाथरूम यूज कर सकता हूँ?
Sure.
सिमी उसके पीछे से दोनों बाजुओं को पकड़े हुए हमारी ओर आ रही है। टूटी बोतल, बुके और चश्मा जमीन पर गिरे हैं। दोनों के पांव हमारी ओर आ रहे हैं। दोनों बाथरूम के सामने पहुंचे। दरवाजा खोला। सिमी ने अपने दाईं ओर देखा और फिर दरवाजा बंद किया।
Yeah, Deepti, let's come back. So now this is what audio described movies are about. Now you are a founder of nobaflix, this OTT content. Now, before I get more into this, Deepti ji, you are an entrepreneur. I want to understand what made you to come into such kind of project, because today unfortunately no one really cares about people with disability. No organization, very little number of organizations or companies really do care for people with disabilities. But why? What made you to come and care about people with disabilities, and what made you to choose such kind of project?
So previously, I was running a platform called Excel Cinema. Excel Cinema was created to provide multi-language content to users. The name was Extra Language Cinema. And I identified a gap in the society where our languages are somewhere divided based on the geographical location. But migrations happen, people have moved out of India. Even within India, people have moved intercity, interstate, but they carry their language, but the cinema is restricted to their geographical location from where the base was. So for example, when a Hollywood movie comes to India, there is a trend that most of the good big budget movies will be dubbed in multiple languages, which is Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam sometimes. If our Hindi movies are dubbed, again they are also dubbed in Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam. But not necessary that a user who's watching that Hollywood movie and wishes to listen to this Hindi dubbed is only in India. They can also be overseas. But the release of this Hindi content is restricted to India only. Similarly, if we look at India, if there is a movie which is dubbed in the Telugu or Tamil language, they are restricted to the South India region. You will not find the Tamil or Telugu or Kannada version in Chandigarh or in Manipur, but not that Tamilians or Telugu speaking people, they don't stay in these states. They are very much there. But cinema is not given to them. So identifying this gap, I created the platform Excel Cinema, which would listen to the ambient sound and play back the alternative dub track of the same movie. I launched it with a Telugu movie called Naperu Surya, starring Allu Arjun ji. And it was a very good hit. It was my first movie on the platform. It was the first time that we were doing, and we found a very good response. 40,000 people installed it for the first movie.
Awesome.
And while I was, visiting the production houses and studios, somebody from the film fraternity suggested, can you do something using technology for providing audio description to visually impaired? That's the first time I even gave a thought about how a visually impaired person consumes content. Because before that, I had never met anybody who had suffered with visual impairment, never knew anybody. And I started my research on this subject, that, how a visually impaired consumes content, what kind of content do they consume, and how is it delivered to them. I learned about audio description is required. Then I learned about the massive scarcity of the content for Indian cinema. There were hardly any movies which were audio described.
Yes.
And we Indians are so proud of our Indian cinema and Bollywood. We are all over the place. It is a culture for us to watch movies and go to theaters. And, on the weekends is what we do. First day, first show is a very crazy act which we all perform. But how come we have left out on this massive population again that resides in our own country? And nobody really thought about it. So I realized that I can definitely cater to this community through Excel Cinema, because when I'm providing alternative tracks of the same movie, I can also provide them audio description track for the same movie. So I don't have to build a new technology, I don't have to build a new platform. My platform can very much be used. So I introduced the audio description feature on Excel Cinema, and we launched the movie Sanju in 2018. And that gave us again a very good excitement among the community. And then that's when my journey with the community started. Like, I started connecting with my visually impaired users, understanding from their feedback how their experience was, and what other movies that I can bring. And it was doing good. So from 2018 till 2020, till we were all hit by the pandemic, we had about 12 odd titles which we made on Excel Cinema. We made audio description for it and provided it to the users, who could go into any movie hall of their choice, sit among you and me, and be listening to audio description without even letting anybody know that they were visually impaired or they needed any kind of support. Because I believe in inclusion. That's always been, that's how I have been raised. That's how my education also plays an important role here, where I feel that, having equal opportunity to all is important. So you were hit by the pandemic, and again, the movie halls were closed, the theaters were shut down. People, even after the lockdown releases, I myself was a little scared to go inside the theaters now, because I was somewhere again addicted or leaning towards the OTT platforms that were giving me, entertainment on the go or at my own comfort. Whenever I want, I can pause the content, I can play it whenever I want. So that's when again, and plus I was always in touch with my users of Excel Cinema who were visually impaired. I kept thinking that if I am watching an OTT platform and consuming content, again, a lot of OTT platforms are not accessible. Not all content on the famous OTT platforms also have audio description tracks. Very few of the tracks are given, very few content are made audio described for the visually impaired. So I noticed that, again, there is a major gap here, and I need to bridge it. So I spent almost 2 years on the product development of nobaflix, and I created, and then finally I launched it on 21st of May last month.
I'm telling you, Dipti, you are a blessing to the community, because for the people with disability, entertainment plays a huge role. Because now I have something for my listeners to think about. My dear listeners, when you sit in your room closing your eyes for 5 to 10 minutes, you will understand how bored you feel. You have nothing to do, just close your eyes and sit idle. Now just imagine a blind person experiences dark 365 days in a year and throughout his life. Now when you make content which is completely inaccessible for the people with disability. Now you ask him to spend time without enjoying entertainment or content whatever is available on OTT or cinema, then there is no way he can have fun in his life apart from work. And people like Dipti are really changing the way entertainment is today, and this is something applaudable, and we salute you, Dipti, for the work you are doing.
Thank you so much. But I feel again the community also has played an important role, because from the day we launched the first movie, Sanju, they were in touch and they kept explaining, they kept sharing their, side of the story, I would say, that how content is not given to them, and they are missing out so much. So that kept pushing me further and further that I have to do this. Like my belief became even more stronger and firm. And of course, with launch of nobaflix, every day, every morning when I wake up, I receive huge number of messages on my WhatsApp, voice notes by my users, and they are thanking me for the movie that they watched last night, or they're thanking for the whole experience. That pumps up my day. I am working till 3 a.m. It doesn't feel that I'm tired. I'm not tired, because I want to do more. So I feel 24 hours these days are way less for me to what all I want to do more.
Awesome. Getting content ready for consumption is a hardship job. Like, it's not easy. Now, how cooperative the film industry is for this thing?
So a lot of production houses, namely Viacom 18, Z Studios, they had settled down with the idea that we need to provide our tracks. We need to, give her the access to our content before the movie releases. And she is going to bring us more users. She's going to bring us more footfalls in the theaters.
Yeah.
So, but again, pandemic sort of tweaked and we pivoted from the idea. Currently on nobaflix, we are targeting only content which are already available on public domain without any audio description.
Okay, let's say nobaflix is ready for consumption. Now, how about commercial factors? Is this free to consume? Because content is not available for free, of course, and you don't get people to work with you for free, right? So now, how this subscription model works?
nobaflix is a subscription based platform, because my vision for the product is it has to be sustainable for the community. The community no more needs to depend on any kind of funds or anyone, but they should be able to pay for themselves. That's why the nominal charge of 69 rupees for 1 month, 199 for 6 months, and 349 for 1 year. Again, among the community, we have a lot of young students. We have a good chunk of population who is unable to afford these subscription plans also.
Yeah, because most of them are not employed yet.
Correct. So for them, again, I can't differentiate between my users whether they can pay or no. Hence, I added the feature request for sponsorship. If people want, they can choose the person they want to sponsor also. And if somebody is sponsoring through our application or our website, they can just enter the number of subscriptions they want to sponsor. So one user is 349 into the number they want to sponsor. And that will be amount they pay, and first come first serve basis, they will be given out the sponsorship.
So that means like anyone can gift a subscription to the blind, right? Who actually in need of it.
Any sighted can give it to a visually impaired. It's only 349. Sometimes we have ended up spending more on one meal.
Not even a meal, Dipti. Today in the cinema hall, the popcorn costs more than this, right?
Correct.
So
But
at
this
the cost of the popcorn, you are gifting a year-long subscription for the person with disability, right?
It's 1 year entertainment. So currently we are hosting 130 movies plus web series, which are increasing by 2 or 3 new numbers every week. So every week on a Wednesday, we launch web series episode wise, and every Sunday we have at least 2 to 3 new movies. So tomorrow is Sunday, and we are launching the Kerala Story on our platform.
Wow.
So Kerala Story will be premiering. and it is not available on any other OTT platform.
Yes.
So if sighteds have missed out on watching that movie in the cinema hall, they still have to wait. But my visually impaired friends can enjoy the movie from tomorrow.
This is a massive surprise from Dipti, because Kerala Stories, most of you guys wanted to watch it on OTT because you had no opportunity to watch it in the movie hall. Now go get your subscription and watch it on Novaflix. And I request every one of you, please buy a popcorn for the visually impaired community. And your popcorn, your spend for this popcorn 349 rupees will give 100% accessible content, entertainment to the person who is visually impaired for year long, 365 days. So think about it. And Dipti ji, please explain us how can we go online to give you sponsorship.
So anyone can install the application nobaflix, nobaflix. Once they install, they have to create a profile, and there'll be a pop-up, are you visually impaired? If you are, then you click yes. If you are not, then click no. If you click no, you can sponsor, you can invite friends through the app, because we have this referral code system also with our app. That is, when you refer to a friend and your visually impaired friend installs the application, buys a subscription, you earn coins. These coins can be further redeemed for buying of subscription, renewing of subscription, also sponsoring of visually impaired, the sponsorship.
If a sighted person wants to enjoy content on your platform, is that possible?
No,
because
every content is with audio description. Sighted is not going to again need audio description for content consumption, and this platform is exclusively for visually impaired community.
Okay, Dipti ji, is there any easy alternate to give the subscription? Is this really mandatory to download and install the app, or you have any other source where people can easily send you the sponsorship, like through a payment link or Paytm, PhonePe, something like that, or on your website?
We on our payment page, we accept UPI, credit card, debit card, net banking. But if somebody doesn't want to, the person is not visually impaired or is not interested in installing the application, or an iOS user, because the application is currently only on Android devices, they can visit www.nobaflix.com and sponsor from there.
So it is www.nobaflix.com.
Correct.
We want to know more, details about you. Your, passion for entertainment and stuff like that. How this all began.
So passion for entertainment, again, we consume movies since my childhood. I grew up in Dubai. My schooling and my education is from Dubai. I graduated from Manipal University, Dubai. And during the pandemic, I studied in IMK Kozhikode. We grew up watching movies, but again, if it was a Hollywood movie, it was more about my interest and my siblings' interest. And my dad would enjoy the content, but he wouldn't really agree to come in to the theaters with us, because he felt that the dialogue delivery is too fast and the accents are very different. So that was, I feel, one day such an incident happened that I insisted that, I was visiting my family back there, Dubai, and I insisted my father that, you need to watch this movie Avengers, and we are going, you should come along. And he said, no, I'm not really up for it. I forced him to come along, and I ended up disturbing a lot of people sitting around us because I kept talking to him. But when after the holidays got over, when I came back to Delhi, on the theaters I saw Avengers is a Hindi. So that's when it hit me that how come Hindi is being dubbed but not made available in Dubai or in US or in other countries. And the research started and the product was born. So
Great.
Again, and my husband also, he is a very big movie buff. So I started watching more movies because of him. And his background, if I tell you, so he is from MIT Boston. So he is the techie.
Wow.
I identify the business. Like for me, the stage starts when I identify a gap in the society that, this needs to be filled, because that's instinctive. I come from a business family. I start planning the business around it, but to implement the technology, it's him who's helping. So these are the discussions that we have over dinner also, at all meals actually, that, which technology can we put up and how do we, bridge the gap using technology. So the expertise is in home, at home, in
and,
house.
and you don't need to pay him.
Exactly.
Diptiji, now tell me, have you ever watched any movie closing your eyes?
No,
You haven't tried that yet?
no.
I think you should do.
Again, the research that I've done, it's made me cry. So I did not really had to go personally experience this part. And even till date, man, when I hear these voice notes, I do have tears in my eyes. Because this subject, this matter has touched me, it's touched my soul.
I want all of my listeners try to do this today, because I want them to go ahead and watch a movie with their eyes closed. Then they will be in a position to understand why audio descriptions are really important and why supporting organizations like yours is important today. I seriously want them to experience this. Deepti ji, now tell me what more you are planning to add with this platform, or any new projects in pipeline.
So content wise, currently we have only Hindi, but very soon we'll start adding the regional content also, which is your Indian regional languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada movies, web series, Marathi movies, Punjabi movies. So all kinds of regional content will soon be available on nobaflix for our regional content consumers.
There is also a large community of people with hearing impaired. So they mainly depend on sign language and subtitles. I have spoken to many deaf and mute people, and what they say is they enjoy sign language more than subtitles, and they enjoy content with the sign language tucked into the screen. So if you can add something like that with nobaflix, that will be a great add-on.
Sign language, again, see, when I connected with the visually impaired community, I was pushed to the hearing impaired community also. I made few friends there. I learned about their experience, and I did develop a product. So it's a patent pending product. You can understand, like when you go for movies in the theater, if the movie is in 3D, they give you a 3D glass to wear.
Yes.
That 3D glass, something similar. My technology is the user will get these glasses, and when they see through these glasses, they'll be able to see either the subtitles or the sign language interpreter.
Oh, wow.
But by naked eyes, for people who don't require it, they will not be able to see it.
The kind of good work you're doing, no doubt the entire universe will come forward to support you, and we wish all your dreams come true, and especially not 1 lakh. I wish you will definitely touch 1 million subscriptions soon, Dipti ji. And once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing such an idea into existence and implementing this in real time. This is a amazing gift for the people with disability, because Dipti ji, I also contacted many OTT platforms. I had some good close contacts with some leading OTT platforms. When we talked to them about making content accessible, they never really cared about it. And
because the main reason is the cost of making audio description. It is huge compared to making subtitles. So again, that cost, who's going to bear? The ball is still roaming around from the production to the government to individuals for CSR. It's just that ball is just roaming. And making of content, audio description, like for example, if I tell you, I have a team who's dedicated to scripting. Then I have members who are doing the voiceover, so the recording of that scripting. Then I have my technical assistants who was mixing these two tracks, the original movie dialogues with the audio description track, in certain manner that the dialogues and the audio description cannot play at the same time.
They don't
Audio
overlap.
description is correct without overlapping. So between two dialogues of the movie, we get 12 seconds, 20 seconds. That's the gap. And we have to fit in the description in a very artistic manner. So again, we have built softwares which are helping us do this. My team is of course fabulous. But despite all the hard work, movie Kantara, that kind of genre, had taken us 3 months
Oh,
to make the audio description of one movie. But not that all movies are taking so much time. We end up finishing movies in a week. We end up finishing movies in 15 days, depending on the genre. So the hard work differs based on the genre. I don't know if you've heard of this, but the movie Pathan,
yeah.
they were called in the High Court because there was a writ petition filed by a visually impaired lawyer because they wanted the audio description for the movie Pathan and the studios did not make it. So when they were called in the court said that we are not going to stop the release of the movie because it involves a lot of big money. But when you release on an OTT platform, which was Amazon Prime, you have to make the audio description. You can't just conveniently discriminate between people in the society, especially in a country like India. They created the audio description and they brought their bill to the court that we spent 6 lakhs plus GST on making of audio description for Pathan. So that's the kind of amount that is involved. But again, not that this is my cost. My cost is, of course, lesser because a lot of things are being done in-house, like I mentioned.
Sorry for interrupting you now. Dipti,
Sure.
now this figure, 6 lakhs, okay. People like those studios, like those production houses spend billions and trillions of rupees on film making, okay. But 6 lakhs is just a hotel bill, if you ask me. So now, how does it count big for them? Now, people like you, see, basically, you are not your company nobaflix as on today. Don't take me in another way. And as on today, your company is not as big as Eshraj Film or Z Studios or Netflix or Amazon Prime. But still, you guys are coming forward to bring some kind of inclusion in the entertainment industry. Now, these people also, they could easily do it, right? That's my question.
Yes. So again, some of them understand. I feel they lack knowledge also. So when during Excel Cinema time, when I used to visit studios to take permission and to make them, obviously my journey started from firstly explaining to them what is audio description. Some of them don't even know what audio description is. Who's using audio description? They don't know. How many visually impaired are reciting in India? They don't know. Knowledge. So knowledge plays, again, they lack the information, they lack these numbers. If they understand that India is home to world's 50% of blind population, they will start looking at the visually impaired community as their customers for theaters, their content consumers. Had they started providing audio description inside the movie, Excel Cinema was a free platform. I was not charging any platform fees or installation fees to anybody. For visually impaired also, it was free to use. If these visually impaired came inside the theater, firstly, they bought a ticket to watch that movie. The money went in the pockets of the movie makers as well as the theaters. They ate popcorn, they drank Pepsi. So you're making money. Consider this amount that you're spending on creating of audio description as your marketing fund and inviting and, basically bringing out these visually impaired users to the theaters.
Yes.
So the journey was good. I think I did a good job, at least till where I could reach. But some of them lacked the knowledge, some of them lacked the information, mindset, which I think slowly is changing.
I wish things will become more better, and my only wish is I really don't want to, I really don't care all other OTT platforms, but I want all the content to be available in nobaflix, and grow big, Dipti. This is what I can tell you right now. And we want such kind of brilliant projects to come more from you, Dipti Prasad.
Thank you so much, Suman.
So, Deepti ji, I have a question for you, and you have no option to say no.
Okay.
Now, if you have all the power, full power and capacity to change something in this world, what that would be?
Firstly, our education system that divides the communities. It has to be more inclusive. It has to give equal opportunity to all. When I grew up, my schooling, my college, I did not meet any hearing impaired or visually impaired person. But again, because I grew up in Dubai, I grew up in a very mixed culture. I see there is a major lack in Indian education system, and that needs to change as soon as possible for a better future, for a more inclusive future. But at least till we change the education system, I feel as humans, we should even change our mindset. When we look at a visually impaired person, instinctively we should identify the activities that a sighted can do, but a visually impaired person cannot do. But that doesn't mean they don't have the right to do it. So again, the example applies on movies. Every time I go into a movie hall, by default, my mind starts thinking, will a visually impaired person be able to navigate to their seat number? Will a visually impaired person be able to order the kind of menu that the movie theaters offer? How will the visually impaired person consume the content that is being played on the big screen? At least I could identify and make this part better. Rest, I'm sure the rest of the world is willing to do for them.
Deepti ji, and for this to happen, you have already entered movie industry, and strongly what I feel is you should also one day enter education industry, because unfortunately today in India, many schools straightforwardly, directly they say no on your faces when a disabled person comes and asks for the admission. And this happens in metropolitan cities se lekar also in very small villages. This is the state of our education system in the country, Deepti ji, and people like you can bring the change. I pray God that whatever you wish today have to come true as soon as possible, Deepti ji.
I'm keeping fingers crossed. God give me the strength that I can achieve what I envision, and hopefully before I die, I could see it, because I learned from one of my friend who is a wheelchair user. He mentioned that if he is waiting on a bus stop, sometimes the bus is empty, but the bus driver wouldn't stop the bus, because it's an added task for that driver to get down, open the ramp for the wheelchair to get inside the bus, and repeat when the user has to come down. I was in a state of shock when I learned this. That this is the mindset, that how petite, how sick. But yeah, hopefully we'll see a better future.
Deepti ji, you know what? The system has to be changed in the education, because only because of education system today, only because of lack of inclusion in the schools and colleges, today people are not familiar with people with disabilities, and they are continuously failing to understand what are their basic needs and what they want.
You know, the entire world kept complaining about the pandemic, but for me, I'm thankful. I got the time to learn new from IIM Kozhikode. I did the course. I built nobaflix. Also, there's a very strong theory now being put up in front of big organizations who refuse to give jobs to people with special needs, that you'll not be able to travel to office, you'll not be able to, perform the way we want you to perform, etc. All those were jazz reasons that they kept giving. But pandemic made even the sighted as well as people who can walk, people who can dance, sit at home, use their laptop and work from home. These opportunities could have been given to people with special needs. If they prefer to work from home, they should have been allowed to do it, rather than making excuses that your transportation is a problem and your commute is a problem. It was not a problem. They were an advantage to the company. They've given the jobs at that time.
I'll give you an example. I used to own a telecom company. I was into telecom business till 2022, and fortunately, for a very handsome price, my company got acquired by another big company called High Reach Broadband.
Nice.
I had a very strong policy in my company. Till 2020, I used to have all cited mainstream people working in my call center, a call center of my telecom company. Now, when the moment this pandemic has come or hit in 2020, 2019 ending or 2020, then it gave me a very deep thought. Now everything is closed, buses are closed. Now disabled students or disabled people are sitting idly at home, no money to earn, and khana pina bhi, like how
some of
they
them
can
really
manage
suffered, yeah.
food, basic necessities, soap, toothbrush, paste. I have seen families, disabled families, who didn't even had toothpaste to brush their teeth. I've seen that. That day, I called up my manager and asked her to fire all the cited or mainstream employees from the call center, and start running publicity event in all the social media and stuff like that we are recruiting people with disability where they can work from their home. All that they need to have is a mobile phone with headset. And then like now the other challenge is software. Like we have spoken to Tata, we have spoken to Airtel for call center solutions and stuff like that. No software was accessible. And thank God there was a company called 3CX, that's an American company, I believe. Then they came forward to make their software stuff accessible, and then it was working pretty good with the screen readers and stuff like that. And since 2020 to 2022, all the seats in my call center was occupied with only people with disability. I had people with vision impairment. I had deaf and mute people working for chat and email support. I had people who had locomotive disabilities, stuff like that. When Suman, a small company, swiftly can accommodate hundreds of people who are disabled, like why not companies like Jio, why not companies like Tata, Airtel can do this? I wrote them, I tweeted them, I messaged them on Facebook, and unfortunately their robotic replies, nothing better I could see than their robotic replies. No one really cared. And then we people with disabilities have come to a conclusion that these people won't really care about us.
It's really sad how the world is programmed to function in certain manner.
But whatever you told just now was amazing. Like I'm looking forward to see that change in this world, in the country especially.
Me too. Keeping fingers crossed on that.
Yeah. Dipti Prasad, it was great talking to you, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to bring you on this show.
Thank you so much.